time for Inside the Gamecocks, the show with Phil Mullinax and J.C. Sherber.
So, how many of you would say you speak English fairly well, but with some difficulty?
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
You play to win the game.
Now, let's take it away, J.C. and Phil.
All right. Thursday, the day before the Tennessee game. God, I take it this, Phil. Football season has flown by.
It really has, man. It's been just a blink of an eye.
I just think about it, and I'm like, that week before the week 0 week, right? Mm-hmm. By the way, back when we all thought Northwestern was going to be pretty good with Ryan Helinski at quarterback this year, and everybody was talking about Nebraska kicking an onside kick, and man, I hadn't heard much about Nebraska or Northwestern since then, and I'm kind of in Big Ten country, so it's kind of interesting how that happens. But in the game in Ireland, and everybody was waiting for beer, and I think they gave away free beer. It's like, you got to wait in line. You got to have a free Guinness. Go Huskers. Go Cornhuskers. Yeah,
Cornhuskers.
Cornhuskers. The Cornhuskers and the Wildcats.
Reminds me of that movie State and Maine. Go you Huskies.
Go you Huskies.
Go you Huskies.
That's a heck of an underrated movie, by the way.
Oh, man, that's an awesome movie, man.
State and Maine is amazing. We got Chris Phillips coming up, high energy at 11:30. We're going to need it today. I'm a little tired. Wes Rucker from Vols247. He's our one of our Tennessee Volunteers writers at 24/7. I've known Wes a while. Great personality. Probably the Vols guy I wanted to get on. I know several of them and I like a lot of them, but he's the guy we want to get on kind of to fit the show and talk about Tennessee. I'm asking a little bit about Tennessee basketball too, and maybe a little baseball. I don't know, but Wes is good people, and we'll have him right at noon. And then Whittle, we all know John Whittle, right, from thebigspur.com. He's coming on, and we're going to pick his brain a little bit about the Hoops game tonight. Gamecocks and Colorado State tip off at 5 in Chucktown. Wait a minute. Those of you from Charleston, do you not like the Chucktown or Charlietown? One of my friends lives in Charleston and doesn't like that at all. Let me know, because I'm not from Charleston. I don't want to insult. Certainly don't want to insult anybody that lives down there. We got a big audience in Charleston. Mm-hmm. So, but down in Charleston, the Charleston Classic, I think, is what it's called. The official name of it, Phil, is it the Charleston Classic or the Holiday Classic?
The Charleston Classic.
Just the Coach O Endless Summer Classic. I have had that in my head all day. By the way, we made a little meme and put it on our Facebook page and Instagram page about the Coach O Endless Summer. So check that out.
Great. Yeah, the Charleston Classic.
Charleston Classic. Colorado State and the Gamecocks, and then Davidson and the College of Charleston are in the other game. The winners will play as we move forward. Good thing about these tournaments, Phil, is like, you still, there's 3 games where you get 3 games regardless. Even if you lose, you still get to come back for more. I've always liked to go to events like this in basketball. My dad actually took me to one in 1986, 87. It was George Felton's first year at South Carolina. He had to go to New Orleans. We had to go to New Orleans for some kind of work thing, and the Gamecocks were playing in what was called the Sugar Bowl tournament at the time. Nice. One of the best basketball games I've ever seen. South Carolina came back and beat Vanderbilt 96-91. And I know I remember a score from almost 40 years ago. But in double overtime. It's one of the best games I've seen. On the other side of the bracket was Villanova and Houston. And Raleigh Massimino was coaching Villanova. And Nova beat them, and the Gamecocks lost to Villanova by 10 the next day of the championship game. Boy, and I was just a kid, so to me that was like a devastating loss. I'm like, it's just a Christmas tournament, man. But I remember there were some Vandy fans in the stands there at the Superdome, which is still standing, I guess, and they were going, "Go Vandy, go! Go Vandy, go!" I don't ever hear that cheer anymore, but I haven't seen Vandy. I don't know that I've been to like a Vandy game where they've been really doing much in football. And that's all I've been to lately. All right, so poll question for today, folks, is over under. Simple. 24.5 for the Gamecocks offense on Saturday night. And this is a big concern for me. I mean, because I think the Tennessee I mean, along and along, when you look at Tennessee all year, you're like, well, good on great elite offense, maybe not so good on defense. But like Josh Pate said yesterday, Phil, with in our interview with him, he said, yeah, well, they're playing complementary football. That's something you always stress.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, it's so important. Yeah,
and we always talk about that here, and they are. So, the Gamecocks offense is probably going to struggle. I don't have much faith in the guy dialing them up on the sidelines anymore. I mean, especially yesterday. Okay, so he did two things. He threw his players under the bus during the press conference, and I gave him props right here because I read something off Twitter. I'm like, well, at least he's manning up to it, right? And that's all I saw on Twitter. So we'll go back and I look at the transcript, and I'm like, my goodness, you're like, why couldn't you run the ball? It's hard to run the ball when you turn it over 3 times. Well, that was in the second half. What about in the first half when you weren't down, 24 points, right?
30 minutes of football before that happened.
Yeah, what would you do? Just forget the first half existed? And I thought it's throwing the players under the bus. We just got to get better, blah, blah, blah. He did try to take some responsibility. And then, as Rodney points out, he says, good morning, I'm here to set up the fake punt. Yeah. Why'd you run it on 3rd and whatever? I was with Coach Bieber. I was setting up the fake punt.
JC, that's why I mentioned the arrogance, because and it's like, and I'm not trying to attack him personally, but as a coach, that's just he obviously has a giant ego, and
which is crazy. Why?
I know it's nuts. Where are you basing that off of?
that's like me rolling into like a Chippendales convention, like the best of all time. JC Sherbert, Chippendales dancer, best of all time. Greatest of all time, I mean, it's getting bad, dude. I'm probably like, a couple of milkshakes away from being able to reenact the Chris Farley, Patrick Swayze, R.I.P. to both of those beautiful souls, by the way. Yeah. Chippendales skip from Saturday Night Live. I mean, seriously, but that would be like me walking in, like, or maybe entering the hot body contest. We will have a hot body contest.
Hot body.
Yeah. The Coach Owen this summer, J.C. Sherbert, the greatest of all time, winner. That would be what was in my mind. If I had that kind of arrogance about what I'm a little arrogant about what I do for a living, right? I think that's pretty evident. But I don't walk around, going like I'm the best ever. If I sit there. Got during my former career and got every number 1 player in the country wrong, and then was like, every day I'm just sitting there bashing everybody else. The NFL sucks; they can't evaluate talent. I don't really even know how to apply it in personal terms, because there's no planet where I would walk around like that if I was that bad at what I do.
No, there's no call for it.
No, I would be apologizing to fans. I would be. But throwing the players under the bus suck. So, I mean, that's where I kind of am like, that's not what a good coach does. I don't mind being critical of players in press conference. I mean, Spur used to do it on testing. But then he says something like, it's not their fault. It's our fault as coaches for playing them.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not their fault. It's our fault for coaches as playing them. But
there's no humility there. I mean, obviously, you haven't put together an offensive juggernaut this year, so
even Frank Martin didn't always. I mean, yeah. I mean, stop. I mean, it makes no sense. You're like, and it's like.
I hope Limbo slaps the crap out of him the next time he sees.
Oh, no kidding, man. Limbo does his dang job. Limbo actually watches. Can dissect what other teams are doing, which is the name of the game. We're not going to worry about the opponent. We're just going to run 1 million plays.
It's time to call 500,791.
And literally, that's the name of the play.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the name of 500,781. Poor Spencer Rattler. Anyway, the Nana Sports chat box obviously is rocking. Sonder, thanks for getting in early. Rodney, good morning. I'm here to set up the fake punt. Classic. Lance Player, what is up, Killas? What is up, Lance? Hope you're Man, Lance was hurting after that game last week. We all were, and I hope you're feeling better, Lance. And I hope, those of you going to the game Saturday, I was talking to somebody last night about how if I'm not saying anybody that doesn't want to go needs to go, but enjoy it. Heck, it's been 10 years since Kirk Herbstreit's called a Gamecock game,
Yeah. And like JB said yesterday, it's like you only get 7 of these a year. Take your family, enjoy the scene, have a great time.
Unless the offense is bad, or I'm sorry, the weather is bad. I equate the weather's bad here. The sun's finally peeking out, and I saw, but I'm getting the weather here confused with Satterfield's offense. Let's hope Satterfield prays a little harder to the ball control gods this week.
Oh yeah, I did catch that part of the
Did he mention ball control? I mean,
ball security. Yeah.
Ball security. Yeah, don't turn it over. It's fine. Yeah, Tennessee forces a lot of turnovers though, and I'm gonna tell you this: if you just run it right at them and try to milk clock, it's not gonna work.
No,
I saw LSU try to do it. Kentucky tried to do it. No, that doesn't work against these guys. You got to you got to do what Georgia did, and you gotta grind the run out and push them back, which is easier said than done, especially if you don't have Georgia's offensive line, and then keep them, as I always have said all year, keep the opposing defense off balance. Don't, if you become one-dimensional and they know exactly what you're going to do, they're just trying to run it and get out of here and not get blown out, they're going to blow you out. And it's going to, and even if the defense gives up 63 points, a lot of that's going to be on the offense, because you can't necessarily go bombs away like Alabama did, in my opinion. But you can't necessarily sit there and try to play rock throwing contest. Now, hypothetically, if you're running the ball at will, this offense works.
Then it can work.
My offense only works when there's a game on Tuesday.
Yeah.
That's it. It's kind of like it. It's like my offense only works every third weekend of the month, because that's how often you're going to be able to run the ball at will at this level of college football, no matter who you are. I don't care, And look, I think, a golden retriever could with a pogo stick could call plays if you're running the ball at will. It's basically left and right. They just put your paw here and put your paw. I mean, come on, man. Yeah. Because it's nothing special they do when they're able to get it going play wise. Adam says, "What, ready for the women's basketball team to whoop Clemson?" And the people said, "Amen."
That's right. Be shocked if that didn't happen.
Oh, that's that's somebody said one day to me, close to buddies, like, "Well, that's about like the football rivalry. Y'all are just South Carolina's just on another level." And I'm like, there's gaps not that big between the football teams, even though I agree there's a huge gap. And that women's basketball gap's pretty daggum large. Jared says Pete Limbo's the safe coach on staff. I hope he makes the final cut for the Broyles Award. Yeah, and it's interesting. I don't know how the voting goes for that, but that's going to be, to me, he would be a popular choice because, you can have a great year on special teams, Phil, and not have the highlights that the South Carolina special teams has.
Oh yeah, it could all be quiet, good punter, good returns,
money, long field goals, breaking some returns here and there. There's just so many highlights in every phase, and then you throw the fakes on top of that, which is a direct credit to Pete Limbo, not to Marcus Satterfield for running.
Sorry, Marcus.
Sorry, dude. No, you get no credit. Adam says he's so clueless and tone deaf in his pressers, it's almost comical. Yeah, it's awful. Carolina Titans in, morning all, morning doc. Lance says if DeCarrion trots out that tunnel as QB1 Saturday night, will he be, will erupt? Because we just want to see something different. Jamie's talking that up a little bit yesterday. I wouldn't mind seeing him in. I don't think you destroy Spencer Rattler's confidence completely by not starting him, but second series, yeah. And I thought playing Joyner more against Vanderbilt helped Spencer settle in, and go out there and play.
Yeah, a drive or two would definitely be good. I mean, hell, what do you got to lose?
Yeah, but if that's the big plan, is like we're just going to run the Joyner package. Come on, man. Just go out there and run a college. Run what you did against Vandy. Let Pete Limbo run offense and special teams. He's a genius and has what it takes to do it. Instantly better than what we got now. J-Rock, I'd love to see Pete Limbo. Like, I think if you handed the sheet to Pete right now or let him call it, I don't know, But let's say the bowl game comes around and there's, they need an interim offensive coordinator. I would roll up. I would consider Limbo quite a bit, for that, just because he'll have time. He hadn't called plays on offense since the 90s, I think, but he's been a head coach and obviously knows what he's doing and, knows defensive formations and offensive formations, like special teams. I mean, that's kind of what Beamer was talking about, like why coaching special teams makes you a good coach, head coach, because you coach the entire team. You coach all the different positions on special teams. And I just think the guys, everybody talks about needing to be creative and, some of Satterfield's trick plays are, they're kind of creative and all that. And I take back any praise I gave his creativity previously. I just take it back. Can I take it back? Can I take back praise?
Take it all back.
You can take back criticism. I don't take back praise, but Pete Limbo actually lives it and performs it and does it. That's all I got to say. Brian says, "Good morning." Clint says, "JC with a new OC's name sounds something like Wendell Miles." Yeah, this is going to be an English soccer coach. Hello.
Yeah. That's Wendell.
I'm Wendell Miles from Liverpool. Coach Beamer called me up, and it's just how about that? That would be the ultimate. Gamecock fans would erupt. Beamer's like, listen, it's the same thing. Soccer's got a lot of similar concepts to SEC football, so we're very confident that Wendell Miles is going to be an outstanding offensive coordinator for us, even though he's never even coached the sport.
Like the reverse Ted Lasso.
I'm so happy to be here. Yeah, that's where they came from. No, folks. Shane Beamer's much smarter. That's kind of like high comedy. That would be like a comical thing. DK about to light it up Mayo Bowl style Saturday night. Interesting. J-Rock says, me too. Our guys are very experienced. Just don't believe they can run Sats crap. So we've seen it for 23 games. Charleston people don't even know that this tournament's going on, Saunders says. Going to the Virginia Tech game at 2, though. All right, yeah. Hokey high. Tech. Tech VPI. That's it. Marion says he's fine with Chucktown.
Mm-mm.
No, not that. You can say Chucktown as much as you want. Live there forever. Thanks.
Yeah, good.
J-Rock starting the DeCarry and Joyner for quarterback thing. Quantrell says, if you're Auburn, who would you go after, Dabo or Kiffin? To me, that's a tough call. Saw on Twitter some smoke with both. Dabo?
I haven't heard Dabo yet. I haven't heard that.
Man, look. Let's just say this about Dabo Swinney, right? Dabo's a coach, right? Yeah, I mean, most coaches cheer and have the place they work in their hearts and their alma maters, right? Where's Dabo? Where'd Dabo go to school? Alabama.
Yeah, I mean you're going to work for your arch enemy.
I can't see him going to Auburn. I mean, because you have to know, Kiffin could go in there and thrive in an environment like that. Because Kiffin's looking, where can I win a national championship? Dabo's already at a place he can win a national championship. Also, I just can't see Clemson being that would be a big step down, quite frankly. I know Auburn's won national championships and all that, but man, our national championship and play for another one. But Clemson, I mean, you're talking about going into the SEC as opposed to what you have to beat at Clemson every year. And I just don't see that. Now taking over Alabama would be a different story. It's his alma mater, and Dabo seems to be the kind of guy that respects history and stuff. And I know if he ever gets that job, the first thing he's going to say is, Mama called. Just like Bear Bryant did when he took the left A&M. I mean, that's the hokiness there. But it's interesting that it's on Twitter that Dabo would be. I mean, I can't. If I'm Auburn, I think Lane Kiffin's probably. You want a guy that kind of lives on the edges a little bit and is unique and. Makes little quips in press conferences and has his own side. Lane kind of has his own brand. It's called Joey Freshwater. Joey Freshwater. But I think if you're Auburn, you need that. You need to, Dabo would be great too. Don't get me wrong, but I'd go with Lane. Saunders says Mike Young's technically in the family. That's why I was wanting him so hard for basketball coach. Yeah, he'd have been a heck of a hire if the job had opened a couple of years earlier. Maybe he'd have come to the South Carolina, but Virginia Tech and all that. James says went the year Carolina went to the Final Four, and all you hear was Frank Martin yelling at his players at that gym. It was so loud. That's Frank. Krager says, "What y'all think of Sat's presser yesterday? Nothing he talks about in pressers translates to the field. Does he go back and listen to himself? I don't know what he does." It's like Office Space. And just what do you do here?
That's exactly it. That's he's sitting in front of the Bobs.
Lumberg. Actually, okay. Hi, Peter. Gary Cole, man, Lumberg. What a great role he was in Office Space. But yeah, Sat needs to be drug in front of the Bobs. And just what do you do here, sir?
What do you do here, sir?
VJ says, is a Skip Holtz style spread offense still relevant? Yeah, a lot of the same stuff that's kind of that works these days is similar to what Skip runs. I honestly think if you look at what Clemson does on offense now, and I know it's the old Chad Morris that's evolved and all that, they do a lot of stuff Skip used to do way back when. I often wonder if Lou would just not put any constraints on Skip at all, because Lou was very concerned. We got to control the field position, we got to control the clock. We got to run the football, and my son Skip's going to do it all out of a spread formation. I think that I often wonder what that offense would have been like, and if had we not been maybe talking about him instead of Dan Mullen and Urban Meyer being the godfather of that, because Skip really was kind of where Dan Mullen and Urban Meyer picked it up from. Little Birdie told me that. Craig says he's putting $10,000 on the Vols. $10,000.
$10,000.
Sean said I didn't see Sat yesterday, but I'm going on a limb to say it was exactly like every other presser. We need to play better. The offense isn't confusing.
Oh my gosh, yeah, we're almost there. Yeah, we know. We've heard it all.
Yeah, he said I could picture JC rolling into the Chippendales convention to Rod Stewart's "If You Want My Body and You Think I'm Sexy." That would be similar to Marcus Satterfield and his opinion of himself on offense.
Yeah, it would.
JC, I dare you at 76. I dare you to talk about a few awesome offensive coordinators that are possibilities. Rebecca Standridge. Hello, everyone. Hello, Rebecca. What time's the game and channel? It is at today. If you're talking about the women, I know the men. I don't know what time the women. The men are at 5 p.m. on ESPNU. I am poster 7. Vols are just trying to decide how many points they want to beat us in the ground by. Jeffrey goes, I'm a 66-year-old fan. I don't deserve this. Blake says, JCU and Phil were talking the other day about the I-10 corridor for recruiting, and someone mentioned I-85 as a hotbed as well. How about I-20, Florence, Columbia, Augusta, Atlanta, Birmingham? Yeah, that's a big, long road. I think how long? 20 go? 20 goes through northern Louisiana. Yeah, that's a good point there. Mississippi, Monroe, Shreveport, East Texas. Yeah. Now going through East Texas to DFW and finishing near Midland and Odessa, home of Friday Night Lights. Yeah, I would say it gets a little East Georgia off 20 doesn't produce a whole lot. Augusta is hit or miss. Aiken's good and all that good stuff.
And the
Jeffrey
women,
said,
JC, are 6:00 on the ACC network.
ACC network. Okay.
Yep.
ACC network. Okay. I'm gonna need you to go ahead and not call somebody screen passes. Okay, set. Very cool. Oh, the football game, Rebecca. It's at 7 p.m. Saturday night. ESPN, Kirk Herbstreit, and Chris Fowler. God, doesn't it just kill you? Like all the national media coverage coming, and it's like everybody's like, "Oh man, not the team." Lance just he said, "I want 2010 one more time." Lance says 3 real candidates for OC. I don't know about real, not real. If there's talk about Kendall Browse out there. I'll acknowledge it. Kevin Johns from Duke's a guy that comes up. Graham Harrell from West Virginia is a guy that comes up. I don't really know what's in Beamer's mind as far as that goes. I think the Browse talk comes from the fact that you do have some former staffers from Arkansas on the staff at Carolina, and there's some connections there, and their fans are not as fired up. Todd, oh God, Doug, this is great for Doug, and then we'll get to a break and get Chris in here.
Where is it? I'm trying to find it.
It's Doug Bell, third from the bottom.
Yes,
God.
yes.
My, Todd. Oh my, another 7 for Rocky Top. Tommy, the Gamecocks can't score with a hooker on the field.
Yes, that's awesome, Doug.
Rebecca says, "Do you remember me from the Spurs Up Show?" No, I don't. I don't. When I'm on with him, I don't look at the comments. Maybe I should, but welcome to the show, though. We appreciate you, and we got Chris Phillips coming up. High energy. Right. I'm ready for this week. Curious to see what Chris has to say. He doesn't hold back, man. So we're gonna take a break and we'll be right back. Don't forget Wes Rucker, top of the hour, and then Whittle comes on at the end to talk a little basketball right here inside the Gamecocks, the show.
Just as your State Farm agent combines good neighbor service with surprisingly great rates, you can combine your home, auto, life, or small business insurance with Tony Pope State Farm Insurance today. And guess what you'll get? That's right, even more good neighbor service with surprisingly great rates. In fact, Tony Pope State Farm is your go-to agent anywhere in South Carolina, North Carolina, or Georgia for the service you deserve at the price you want. So try combining your home, life, auto, and or small business insurance today. Tony Pope State Farm has been in business for more than 30 years and can handle anything you need in the tri-state area. Once again, Tony Pope State Farm will help you mix and match perfectly. Call 843-851-2222 or visit tonypope.com today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
If you're a listener, you know I feel strongly that if you're in the upstate and are in need of real estate services, Cindy Searfoss is your go-to person. Searfoss of Caldwell Banker Kane can help you with any of your realty needs right there in the upstate of South Carolina, Greenville, Spartanburg, Anderson, Oconee, Pickens, wherever you are. Cindy can help you with that. She's married to a diehard Gamecock fan, has been in the upstate for more than 35 years. Right there in my hometown of Spartanburg, Daniel Morgan Avenue. Contact Cindy, 864-414-5271, or email csearfoss, CSEARFOSS, at cbcaine.com, CBCAINE. That's Cindy Searfoss, a proud sponsor of the Inside the Gamecocks podcast. Check her out. We've already gotten several emails from listeners that are very impressed with her professionalism and her ability to help you with your real estate needs. 864-414-5271, Cindy Searfoss of Caldwell Banker Kane.
If you're looking to sell or buy multifamily property right here in South Carolina, the Burgesson team of RE/MAX at the Lake can help you get to closing fast and easy. Adam and Derek Burgesson both are very proud Gamecocks and are more than happy to assist you with any of your commercial real estate needs all across the state. You can email Adam at aburgesson@remax.net. That's ABERGESON at remax.net to get your next deal underway. The Burgesson team, proud sponsors of Inside the Gamecocks.
Attention golfers of all ages and skill sets. Former Gamecock golfer Meredith Taylor will be a full-time golf instructor in the Midlands of South Carolina very, very soon. You want to take advantage of this opportunity. If you're like me and you got to get a whole lot better at golf, or even if you're looking to refine your swing, Meredith is the person you need to go to. She's competing in her final USGA Mid-Amateur Tournament this summer before going full-time into teaching and coaching individuals. If you're in South Carolina, Meredith will be conducting in-person golf lessons at the Country Club of Lexington, half-hour, hour, on course. She'll play 9 or 18 with you. If you're out of state, though, this is really exciting. She'll be conducting virtual lessons. You can send in your swing for her expert analysis. Also, in November, she'll launch an online course with video instruction for all ages and skill levels. Meredith has 20-plus years of knowledge, former SEC golfer, all of that. So contact her on Twitter at MerTaylor, at MERTAYLOR, or go to McKellarEnterprises.org. McKellar spelled MCKELLAR, Enterprises.org. Her email's on the website, so you can connect with her for any other questions. Go get your golf game in order. Take advantage of Meredith Taylor and her services.
What's up? This is Jaheim Bell with the Gamecocks, and you're now listening to Inside the Gamecocks Show with JC and Phil.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Inside the Gamecocks, the show is brought to you in the first hour by Cindy Searfoss and the Coldwell Banker Kane Realty team here in the Upstate. Give Cindy a call, 864-414-5271 for all of your upstate residential real estate needs. We're joined now on the McKellar Enterprises guest hotline by Chris Phillips of the Spurs Up Show. Chris, how you doing this week, man?
Boys, what's going on? I'm doing well. Actually just got off an appearance with Tony Basilio in Knoxville, talking about Gamecocks Vols. Yeah, that's a name. It's interesting. There's this heated, I don't know if rivalry is the right word, but this the heated exchanges between Gamecock fans and Volunteer fans on social media, but I don't know what it is, but those Vol people seem to like me. I had some Tennessee people reach out. Hey, we'd love to get you on this show, whatever. Just fans of Tennessee. I don't know. So anyways, it was a lot of fun talking with Tony and looking forward to the game. And I appreciate you guys obviously having me on every Thursday.
Yeah, I got after this guy last night. I think he pretends to be in the media.
I did see that.
It was like since August, he's been writing. He called Shane the next Butch Jones. And I was like, man, I know he may come across that way sometimes, but he's no champions of life. I mean,
well, listen, Tennessee fans are having success, relative success for the first time since 1998 practically. So
15 years, at least 25 years. So
they've suffered for a long time. So.
So anyway,
we were having some fun with them yesterday.
Yeah, I had a little fun, and I was like, I felt bad because I just tore that dude a new one. But I don't do that too. I'm trying to turn over a new leaf, Chris. By the way, Rebecca, the queen of the Spurs Up Show, is in our chat box and says to tell you what's up.
Beautiful.
Okay, so Florida was a disaster. I think we all know now through 23 games, Marcus Satterfield's a disaster. Tenure needs to end. Your takeaways from last week in the swamp.
Well, first thing, man, I love calling Carolina Ale House a business partner, but I've been to Carolina Ale House Somerville 3 times, and it has gone poorly all 3 times. So I think those people never want to see me again. The other football game I was there for was the Tennessee game last year. So combined first quarter scores of the 2 games I've been there are 49-0. So wow. I don't think they ever want to see my face again. Anyways,
just show up late.
Just show up late. Yeah, exactly. Takeaways from the Florida game. I mean, it's a burn the film kind of game. I mean, what is there to take away? I mean, you just got blasted, you got embarrassed, and I said this earlier this week, guys, but it's the truth. And I was asked on Tony Basilio's show about Shane Beamer. Do you believe he's the guy? And I absolutely do, right? I think Gamecock Nation would. I think it's the wrong stance to take to be questioning Beamer at this point. It's still so early on in his tenure. But Shane Beamer's got to figure out 2 things. Number one, he's got to figure out offense. We all agree with that. Marcus Satterfield needs to go, and the next OC, it needs to be a home run. If not a home run, it's got to be a double. Just can't be a swing and miss, right? The offense has got to get better. Number 2, though, what he's got to figure out is, and this isn't all his fault, but this trend that when South Carolina loses, I mean, they get killed, guys. 24 of the last 32 losses by 14 or more points. That has to stop. Like, these games are on national television. Everyone can see them. Everybody can watch, and you're just getting blasted. Like, I can live with the fact that, hey, maybe Florida is more talented than us. Like, they're Florida. Or I can live with that Georgia's more talented. Or Tennessee Saturday is a better team. But my God, it can't be 21-0 after the first quarter. You can't give up 374 rushing yards. Like, these things have to stop happening, right? So it's just – that's a game, guys, where everybody from Beamer to Sat to Clayton White to the players, everybody involved with Gamecock football has to stop and take a long, hard look in the mirror and just, am I doing absolutely everything I can to, make this South Carolina football program the best it can be? Am I giving my absolute all? I hate to have the corny cliches and the slogans, but like this weekend I look at it as a gut check game. Like, are you just going to fold and are you just going to roll over and just take it the rest of the season? Or are you going to do something about it? You know what I mean? Just an abysmal performance from the start. And I mean, guys, it becomes comedic at some point, right? I mean, instead of crying, all you can do is laugh at some point. And that's inevitably how it played out on Saturday in Gainesville.
Yeah. And you just gotta hope that we've got that bounce back in us again, one more good time, right?
Hey, I mean, the Gamecocks have, I tweeted this Saturday, against the Florida game, South Carolina undefeated in those home games. Have we considered that possibly the Gamecocks are allergic to the sun? Have we considered that? I mean,
vampires.
I mean, truly.
We have a team full of vampires.
I mean, is it a full moon Saturday night? I need to know before making a prediction.
We're a nocturnal team. Yeah.
I mean, something.
Yeah, y'all made me mention vampires. I'm gonna get drug into watching a Twilight movie here soon, man. Come on. But yeah, it is interesting. The game is at night. It is at home. Carolina's undefeated in that situation. And that's the only, somebody asked me, what advantages could South Carolina possibly have besides special teams? I was like, well, if I reached for something, it's that Tennessee has not played very many road games at all in big-time environment. Pitt was a nice crowd, and that game went to overtime, believe it or not. I mean, you go back to it. They played at Georgia, and they played at LSU at 11 o'clock in the morning down there. A little bit different than what they'll hear at Williams-Brice. And as we all know, sometimes – and, Tennessee's so good on offense, Chris. They're not even like what I would call a rhythm offense. I mean, they do get into a rhythm, but it's not really predicated on like say Mike Leach's offense where he says dink, dink, dink. I mean, they're just kind of like, okay, if you don't let us throw it, we're going to run it. If you don't let us run it, we're going to throw it. I mean, and then it's weird. It's awesome, really, to watch.
Yeah.
So I don't know if crowd noise will affect them or not. I suppose it could. I don't think they, unlike South Carolina, have a million different checks and audibles and stuff. They have the cadence they have to go through. But that would be something that could potentially factor if Carolina can't doesn't just it's not 21-0 after 5 minutes.
Yeah. Right? And I don't want to be the guys that's like, come on, guys, let's pack Willie B. Like, I don't want to be that guy right now because Gamecock Nation showing up is not the problem. It's the team showing up. It's the offense showing up. But I will say I did list as one of my keys to the game is just, you got to create an uncomfortable environment for Hendon Hooker somehow. You got to make things uncomfortable and a little bit chaotic for Tennessee somehow if you're going to have any shot. And we saw, listen, I sometimes I think home field advantage is a little bit overvalued and talked about too much. But, I mean, you look at the A&M game, right? They were very uncomfortable. The false starts. Gamecock Nation's role in these games at Willie B. And, guys, we've seen it. When Willie B's at its best, it's one of the toughest environments in all of college football to play in. So, I will be in the building. I'm intrigued to see what the crowd will be like on Saturday night. I've heard these rumors of, a lot of orange in there. I think Gamecock Nation will show up, show out. Listen, it's the last home game of the season. It's a sold-out house, according to Gamecock football. So, I think certainly you got to do something to create an uncomfortable environment for Hendon Hooker, and Gamecock Nation, again, can play a role in that.
I think, too, it's one of those things where the longer Carolina stays in it, obviously sometimes the old adage is the longer you stay in it, the better chance the more the favored team gets nervous. But heck, Chris, I mean, Missouri was within 28-24 Saturday in Knoxville. And I went up and got a beer and walked back to my chair, and it was 49-24. I was like, wow, that's it can change in a blink of an eye against this bunch. But, Georgia seized momentum early and kept it and all that against it. But, I mean, I know Georgia's on a different level, but that's going to be, I think, if Carolina does have any chance. And I also think from an optics standpoint, you got the primetime ESPN spot. You got Herb Street and Fowler calling it. You're going to have blimp coverage, right? SEC Nation is there. You got all the new lights and all that good stuff. Where Williams Brice at times looks like a rock concert. I mean, it looks really cool. So it is a chance to showcase some parts of the program that are positive. But if you're down 28-0 after the first quarter, people are not going to be excited. It's going to be quiet. It's just going to be like some empty seats and a bunch of orange with some lights, So I do think there are reasons to hope the Gamecocks stay in it, just from recruiting, a lot of recruits on campus, all that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and does Vegas know something we don't? Because I think what's interesting is that the spread opens at 20.5. I'm not saying Vegas is always right, but again, they don't build those mansions out there in the desert off winners' money. So it opens at 20.5. All the money, it seems like, right? All the money's on Tennessee, yet the spread just stays at 21.5. Yeah. So I just wonder, I'm like, is Vegas expecting, like a spirited effort from Carolina on senior night, maybe Tennessee? I just don't see a scenario where Tennessee's just going through the motions. Guys, they need to impress the playoff committee. Like they need to win big. They need to score 70 if they can. You know what I mean? But you speak on it. I want to, JC, echo what you just said. Speak on the festivities around the game, SEC Nation, and Feinbaum on the horseshoe, which I'm actually, by the way, in case anybody's going to be out there, we're going to slide out there tomorrow to see Feinbaum, and we'll be out at SEC Nation Saturday morning. And I'm going to try to hook up Feinbaum and the SEC Nation guys with some Beamer Ball stuff just to spread the good word. But like you mentioned, it's a big commercial for Carolina football. I mean, this weekend can definitely still serve as a positive. Again, you're selling the program. I'm sure Beamer will appear tomorrow on Feinbaum talking about the program, what have you. And, but of course, you need the game itself. Like, you can't be down 28-0 after the first quarter, right? You kind of undo all the good you just did in the last 24, 48 hours of selling your program. So, yeah, I mean, it's when you look at this one, guys, I mean, again, Vegas is really intriguing, the number, but there have been times this season, and there's just times, right, where a fan base you feel like overreacts a little bit. Maybe it's a little bit more, quote unquote, doom and gloom than is deserved. I think Gamecock Nation has acted about on par for the performance we saw last Saturday. I don't think anybody's over the top this week. Like, I don't think this football team, sorry about it, sorry, not sorry, they don't deserve the benefit of the doubt going in this game. Tennessee's a juggernaut. I mean, they just scored 66 on Mizzou's defense. What are they going to do to you? And here's what's scary, guys. People don't realize this. Tennessee runs the football more than they pass it. Like, they run the football extremely well, which sets up the pass. And you just gave up 374 rushing yards to Florida. So you need to hope Tennessee plays their worst game of the year. I mean, just bottom line, to really have a shot. And, unfortunately, this is set up to be a game where if you cover, that's a minor victory. I hate saying that. I'm not a moral victory guy. I'm not a moral victory guy. But, I almost look at this game, guys, as this is almost more of put together a solid performance, something you can draw positives from to set up next weekend. Because as we all know, if you win next weekend, it doesn't automatically make the season a success, but it does cure a lot of the ill feelings we have to this point, right? So anyways, looking at this game Saturday night, I don't know, guys. I don't know how you slow down the machine that is Tennessee.
The beauty of the Briles and what Heupel does now is a little different. It's evolved from when he was at Missouri, and of all people, Will Muschamp had his number, and Will Muschamp may still have his number. Looking at what Georgia did to him, I mean, somebody needs to call Will and then say, "Hey, man, how'd you do this?" He'd probably just say, put his face in the fan and liked it.
Well, we built a great program. It all starts in training camp.
Gap integrity.
Gap integrity.
Put a hat on a hat.
Vertical field position.
Vertical field position. Put a hat on a hat. No, there's something he does with them that's it's a little. I don't know what the deal is there, but he's involved in the beauty of the Briles system, I think, and we see it working in different forms at Arkansas. And I know without KJ Jefferson this year, it's a different offense. at Ole Miss, and because Jeff Lebby left a big imprint on Lane Kiffin, as did Kendall, and now here with Heupel, So looking forward, your thoughts on, and we had Josh Pate on yesterday talking about, hey, look at what Tennessee's doing on offense. So if you're looking for a new offense, something similar where you could spread the field, run it and throw it, could work at a place like South Carolina because it's such an equalizer.
Yeah.
So your thoughts about maybe Carolina moving in not an identical direction, but a similar direction, because obviously that type of system can adapt to a lot of different personnel.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see it. I mean, listen, guys, we just want to be productive, score points, right? Obviously, I mean that's what the game is now. It's an offensive game. I mean, we all know this, and I hate the fact that I feel like I'm having the exact same conversations I was having 2 years ago or 3 years ago about, hey, we need to score points. We need to have productive offense. Maybe we can't do this 12, 13 personnel thing you're talking about. We need to be going down the field and be explosive and be dangerous. Just be a threat. Just be a threat where teams play us and say, going to be tough for our defense this week. Every defensive coordinator must be licking their chops when they see us on the schedule. It's just like, well, we know what we're getting with these guys. Going to be slow, monotonous, and going to be a great opportunity for us to improve our points per game average. What I think is interesting too is, and I know you asked about, implementing it at South Carolina. I mean, I think that, people ask me about who would you like to see the next OC be? I just want to see a forward-thinking, spread it out, innovative type of coordinator. I don't know exactly a name, but someone who has a track record of success. Who, this whole check with me thing, dude. My God, just throw that in the garbage. Something up tempo, fast, quick. Make them think. We don't need to be the ones thinking. Make them think, right? Make them think a little bit. So, yeah, I mean, I'd love to see it. I mean, obviously, everybody's looking at Tennessee, just kind of trying to figure out what are they doing? Can we do it? All that stuff. And at some point, you got to be who you are. But, it's interesting, man. Speaking of those Tennessee guys, and when you get further away from the program, everybody talks about the offensive line. I think a lot of the reason the Gamecocks are recruiting the way they are, and I think we're much better than, we've shown at times. And I think the offensive line's come along quite a long way since early in the season, but continuing to improve up front. I mean, again, Tennessee's foundation's running the football. When you can run it for damn near 200 yards per game, it opens up everything else. I don't disagree with that, but being that high-flying, explosive offense is something you want to be. But you look at Tennessee, guys. I know Tennessee's talked about is they're not very good defensively. I mean, they're giving up 22 points per game. I know they're giving up 288 passing yards per game, but I think the reason that probably is because they're getting out so far ahead of everybody. Teams are having to throw the ball, right? That's how they're gaining their yards. They're trying to throw their way back into games. So, it'll be a challenge again for Spencer Rattler and this group. And God, it's this South Carolina's offensive aptitude is so much more about them than what any defense is doing. I think, guys, at this point, I know y'all probably agree. It's so much more about Carolina's just lack of. And this will be the first time I've said this, I think, in the Shane Beamer era. I normally stick to the player matchups and how the team, but for the first time, I'm willing to say I think Tennessee's coaching staff is just going to coach circles around Carolina Saturday night. Maybe not in special teams. Shane Beamer and Pete Limbo have got that figured out. But Marcus Satterfield's going to get folded into a pretzel on Saturday night, and Clayton White probably the same. And I like Clayton White a lot, but they've shown me nothing to think otherwise. That Tennessee's just they're going to have their way. So hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I'd feel better. And you talked about the check with me. Spurrier used to do that, but when you have Steve Spurrier on the sidelines and he's doing his and he's checking it and he's looking at the defense, I'm fine with that, right? Because chances are, even if that joker called 2 straight timeouts, he was going to dial up something that's going to be a first down.
Yeah, I mean, guys, I've got a great relationship with Brad Lawing, and I know y'all know that name. And so I've talked with Brad, and he's told me that Coach Spurrier, greatest offensive mind I've ever been around, and he told me, he's like, if he knew, and you talk about the check with me, it's why I bring this up. He said if he knew what your safeties were doing, it's over. It's over. He'd pick you apart, and there were certain D coordinators that they do the check with me. He'd see what the safeties are doing, or the defense would kind of show, right? They give it away. And just Coach Spurrier's going to pick you apart. So that's Coach Spurrier, though.
Yeah. It's like, hey, check with me now. It's like, hey, Spencer's looking over, and poor Spencer, man, he just every game, it seems his eyes get a little wider, and there's a look of astonishment, and he's like, all right.
Yeah.
And then it's like an 8-man box, and it's like dive play. Brilliant call, Mr.
Like it. Sometimes I'm like,
it coming.
yeah, we do all these checks, and I'm like, it's crazy how much work it takes for us to gain a yard or 2 yards. Like you'd think if you're doing all these checking, it's to like some we really got him here, we got him.
It's like,
rarely do we ever get them.
We've got them right where we want them now.
Right,
This guy, he's the Dr. Evil of play. I mean, he's just anyway. Yeah, I have no faith at all.
No.
Basketball today, pretty relatively big game early. Colorado State. This tournament's got some good teams in it. I got lit on fire by an idiot on Twitter because I put a poll question up saying, "Are you encouraged?" I didn't think encouraged was a big homer term, but I guess it is. Encouraged by the start. I still think it's safe to be encouraged. There's work to be done, but your thoughts on this tournament coming up for these guys?
Yeah, I mean, why would you not be encouraged after beating your arch rival? I mean,
that's like encouraged is not like
Twitter's not exactly the place you go for sensible conversation, if you will. Not quite.
I'm going to learn my lesson someday.
Yeah, no, I mean, I hear you. I'm in the same boat. I think I saw, by the way, great use of Twitter. I saw Phil tweet. It just said, "I love Twitter." I wanted to be like Phil. Great tweet. A plus quality tweet from Phil.
Twitter is fun.
Yeah, great place. Yeah. No, I'm excited, guys. I think that when there's South Carolina's got still a lot of unknowns. I mean, I think maybe Gigi Jackson's a bit of a known, but when you speak on encouraged, man, why are you encouraged? Well, it's just something new. It's something fresh, right? You're learning as you go. And even if you don't win every game, like we're all kind of, we're on this ride together with this team, with Lamont Paris, we're learning about this basketball team. So I did pick Colorado State to win. I think offensively, they're a little bit better than South Carolina, right? But hey, Gamecocks are favored by 1.5, so maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. And I will say to those listening, as football season comes to an end, the basketball coverage will continue to increase. It's just tough right now because obviously football is king, and we're in the heat of it. But no, I mean, I'm excited for the tournament. I think these early season tournament play again. It's just figuring out what do you have, right? But I think for most people, the expectations for year one of Lamont Paris, hey, just beat Clemson and get Gigi Jackson to the NBA. Like outside of that, I mean, it's kind of, again, it's just a blank slate. And I think it's smart for fans to go into this season looking at it as a blank canvas type deal. Nobody's expecting, you got to make the NCAA tournament year one. Like, I don't think anybody's expecting that, man. But I think what you saw against Clemson, what I'm really encouraged about is a team that's just playing free offensively. I've never seen a team shoot so many 3-pointers, it felt like, and just kind of have the green light to pull the trigger. And, when they're hot, it'll be fun to watch. And when they're not, you'll probably lose some ball games, but that's okay. I mean, again, this is a learning, growing thing. Nobody expected Lamont Paris to have it all figured out and together year one. And, so again, it's an intriguing matchup against the Colorado State team. This will be the best team you've played all year. And we'll see how the Gamecocks match up. But anytime you get in these tournaments, right, it's a lot of fun. So, yeah, excited to watch the Courtcocks at 5:00 today. And it's double elim tournament. But we'll kind of see how far they can go and go from there. Also, by the way, excited to watch the women beat the living hell out of Clemson tonight.
That's 7 p.m. ACC Network, Phil, right?
Yes.
On that one. I don't always have the women's basketball schedule in front of me. I watch them and all that. But, yeah, that one's not going to be.
I thought about going just because it's like, I know we're going to win. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you just know you're going to win. Like,
yeah, it's not. A couple of years ago when Little John was getting remodeled, they played women's basketball at like a high school gym or Don Staley. I think they went up there and won 102-30 something or something like that. That it's interesting. All right, Chris, man, looking forward to chatting with you on the Spurs Up Show right after I get off from here at 1:15. And as always, great stuff.
JC, Phil, always a pleasure. Appreciate you guys having me on. Talk to you soon, JC.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Phil, we have a troll in the chat box.
See that? Yeah, he was very negative here. Christian is very
Christian. No, I think he's a Clemson fan because he said y'all or some other fan. A very good football argument, and he called somebody an idiot. Let me scroll back. What exactly has anyone or coach said that makes you think Sat being gone is a done deal? That's what I get paid for, bro. I suppose there's. I mean, let's just say I think it's done. No. Let's just say I am confident that, and I think anyone with a brain, Christian, and no offense to you, you may not have one here, would know that there needs to be a change. Anyone with a brain knows that. That's Gamecock fans, coaches, Shane Beamer, Ray Tanner, Kirk freaking Herbstreit, Evil McCheese, but anybody knows that. All right, so then this lame argument here, Christian's like, what are you, a physics guy, a physics professor? This is logic. It's so logical. Oh, logically. Oh. If he's going to be fired, tell me, what is the point of continuing on with him the last 3 games? There's with terrible offense to look horrible and push away recruits. Well, there's only 2 games left on the regular season, Christian. I'm sorry that math is not your strong suit. And it's not pushing. Look, I keep up with Gamecock recruiting pretty closely. There's not a single recruit out there right now that said, I'm leaving because of Marcus Satterfield's coaching the last 2 games. Nobody says that. They have a great group of guys coming in this weekend for that game. So he's like, because he's not leaving. No, that's like looking outside and saying, the sky is gray today. All that crap about this being a blue planet is completely stupid. Chris is like, I just presented a very good factual argument. Please give me a legitimate, coherent answer, and I'll discuss. Yeah, you're wrong. So you don't think the argument's a good question, blah, blah, blah. Again, what's the point in keeping Sat the final 3 games? There's 2 games left.
Yeah, you're assuming they're going to retain him for 2 or 3 weeks, I guess, for the bowl game is what, your 3rd game argument is. It doesn't make any sense. Here,
Christian says bowl game. Now, if he coaches the bowl game, that's going to be an issue, a huge issue.
Yeah, that's when it becomes a big problem.
It's, it's not I never said the bowl game was in play, right? So I'm sorry. But anyway, the one about why keep him, what's the point? Well, there's nobody else to really take over. And, as far as, am I defending this? No, I'd have punted after Georgia or Missouri. Because of those 2 opportunities, you have lesser opponents coming up that your likelihood of winning the games are still high if you have a guy that's kind of getting his feet wet, but with this gigantic playbook. But I understand why not right now with 2 left after Florida, because you don't have time. I mean, you got 2 days to prepare or practice for the number 4 team in the country, and then you got like Thanksgiving next week, which that Clemson week game prep is always sort of tight for both teams because of the holiday. So when are you really supposed to get a new play caller in a groove? You're not. Okay. Yeah. And I understand that side of it. Now, if it were me, gone. Probably after Georgia, because that was a pile of crap game plan as well. So I think that, he said, I can tell you Sat will definitely be coach of the bowl game, LOL. But I'll be on here after your bowl game and discuss again. No, you won't. If I can help it. But if you have some super secret information, then about Sat staying, then that's fine. But I think you're just a ridiculous troll. But enjoy the show. Thank you for listening. You're making us money.
Yeah, we appreciate the engagement.
Millward says, tired of this debate. Firing him does not fix things. It actually makes things worse. You aren't wrong, but there's no benefit in firing him now. It just gives fans a scalp. I tend to think that's the logic at this point. Now, is it fair to say maybe you should have saved the season after Georgia? Yeah. I mean, and the disappointing thing about it is whenever the offense has shown signs of life, the next game it reverts back to this dump truck dumpster fire. So, all right. Anyway, troll. Have a good one, Christian the Troll. We need to make up a little moniker for him. Hey, I'm Christian the Troll. Christian the Troll. A UNC fan.
Oh, wow. Yeah, okay.
You're not even a Clemson fan. Wow. Well, yeah, that's UNC's having a good year on the football field. So stay through the off season and right on up to the opener in Charlotte, buddy. Would love for you to be right in here after that one next opener when South Carolina has a new offense, and I think they beat North Carolina for 8 out of the 8th time in 10 games, something like that. Go Heels! I hope you watched Gigi Jackson play today too at 5 p.m. on ESPN.
Still sore about that one, aren't you?
Yeah. All right. So we got Wes Rucker coming up here. We're going to get a break right here inside the Gamecocks show. Going to talk a little Vols and find out just how good are they this year after these messages. If you're a listener, I feel strongly that if you're in the upstate and are in need of real estate services, Cindy Searfoss is your go-to person. Searfoss of Caldwell Banker Kane can help you with any of your realty needs right there in the upstate of South Carolina, Greenville, Spartanburg, Anderson, Oconee, Pickens, wherever you are. Cindy can help you with that. She's married to a diehard Gamecock fan, has been in the upstate for more than 35 years. Right there in my hometown of Spartanburg, Daniel Morgan Avenue. Contact Cindy, 864-414-5271, or email csearfoss, CSEARFOSS, at cbcaine.com, CBCAINE. That's Cindy Searfoss, a proud sponsor of the Inside the Gamecocks podcast. Check her out. We've already gotten several emails from listeners that are very impressed with her professionalism and her ability to help you with your real estate needs. 864-414-5271, Cindy Searfoss of Caldwell Banker Kane.
If you're looking to sell or buy multifamily property right here in South Carolina, the Burgesson team of RE/MAX at the Lake can help you get to closing fast and easy. Adam and Derek Burgesson both are very proud Gamecocks and are more than happy to assist you with any of your commercial real estate needs all across the state. You can email Adam at aburgesson@remax.net. That's ABERGESON at remax.net to get your next deal underway. The Burgesson team, proud sponsors of Inside the Gamecocks.
Hey man, are you sick and tired of your business computer guy?
Yes, he takes forever to call me back and doesn't always respond to the requests.
Yeah, same here. I'm paying him good money. I constantly have issues, and I'm worried he's not backing up my network and securing it properly.
Oh, I feel that, man. My head hurts, but I have a good lead on a good idea. I'm calling your boy Matthew Odom today from Heritage Digital. Heritage Digital is an IT firm that specializes in making sure your IT network runs like a dream. If you have 1 or 500 employees, it doesn't matter. They do it all for one monthly fee and have clients from South Carolina all the way to California.
Yeah, I heard that monthly fee's low too, so I don't know why I didn't even think of that. Do you have 843-699-1001 as Matt's contact number?
Yeah, man, I sure do that. Or you can go to heritagedigital.com.
Man, I hear they do a no-cost assessment. Boy, this will help me.
Yeah, I bet.
I'm getting on that and encouraging everyone else to do the same. Heritage Digital, 843-699-1001 or heritagedigital.com, a proud sponsor of Inside the Gamecocks, the show. Hey, folks, JC here. I've told you about Nana's Porch over and over again. They sponsor our chat box on the show. Don't take my word for it, though. I wanted you to hear from Gamecock pitcher Noah Hall about our sponsor, Nana's Porch, nanasporch.com. Go there, food truck, catering, whatever you need. Take it away, Noah.
What's up, Gamecock fans? This is pitcher Noah Hall. If you want some delicious food for your event, I suggest visiting nanasporch.com today to find out what they all have to offer. It's really good Southern cuisine based out of Charlotte, my hometown. I hope you guys go check it out. Go Cox and go Nanas.
Family vacations, a new car, a new boat, all cost money, but you don't necessarily have to make more to afford any of that if you can save cash that's flying out the window now. iHelp Consulting can help you finally get the kids to Disney World, upgrade the minivan, or drop that new boat in the water next summer. Let Daniel and iHelp Consulting consult with you. No fees, just savings. You pay them a percentage of those savings. Save on essential services, credit card fees, you name it. Let them find it. These folks are incredible. iHelpConsulting.com. How can I help you?
Yep, time to get back to the show. Shoot. All right, my man.
Welcome back to Inside the Gamecocks, the show, everybody. The second hour of the show is brought to you by the Burgesson team at Remax at the Lake. Give Adam or Derek a call or shoot him an email at aburgesson, that's ABERGESON at remax.net. Wes is running a couple minutes behind, but as soon as he gets in, we will put him on through. And
the troll is continuing. He's flexing over here. I said, listen, he's like, listen to this. The GG argument is so dumb. UNC is head and shoulders over USC in basketball. That's true.
Wow.
I mean, I think that's a genius. Who figured that out? Oh my God.
That's like the Tennessee fans punching down on us this week. It was like, we know you're better.
North Carolina's better than South Carolina in basketball? My God. Shocking. It's shocking. It's very shocking. No, look, Christian, and I actually think North Carolina in basketball probably can win it all this year. Yeah, hell, they almost did last year.
They're a good team, yeah. I mean,
and I was kind of happy for Hubert Davis beating Mike Krzyzewski in his last game.
I enjoyed that too. I really did.
North Carolina swept them last year. They didn't beat. They didn't. I don't think Duke won. Duke didn't win in Chapel Hill either. So you know,
I showed him the door.
Yeah, I mean, they're like, oh, see you later, Coach K. Nah, it's one good thing about North Carolina basketball. My friend Ryan Bartow and I talk about it all the time. It's never boring. It's never a boring basketball game when you watch them play. We've watched, all of us in South Carolina have watched North Carolina play our whole lives, you know, because the ACC connection and all that. So, you know, I just think it's kind of funny to UNC fans coming into the chat box trying to stir stuff up. You know, it's funny.
I know.
I appreciate the compliment, Christian. I really do. And actually, you know, next time that we can all kind of talk smack is, you know, the game in Charlotte to open the season next year, and that'll be the last one in Charlotte. They play for a while. It's home and home in the later part of the decade. So Carolina will be going back to Chapel Hill. I think if you are right and Marcus Satterfield's still the OC, it'll probably be a sea of baby blue and a bunch of blue empty seats at Bank of America.
Yeah, a lot of blue.
A lot of blue. A lot of. If not, you know, it should be a heck of a crowd and a heck of a game. And certainly, you know, you can't argue with what Mac Brown's done this year after a, you know, I guess a iffy start, especially on defense. But they won anyway. And now they're rolling, you know, with the exception of Notre Dame, which is they probably should crown Notre Dame the ACC champs this year since they beat Clemson and North Carolina both. But you know, that's the deal there. But but thank you for listening, and we'll go back to the Gamecocks. You know, like Chris was saying earlier about the pageantry and stuff surrounding the game, you know, that doesn't happen to South Carolina often. And I kind of know they're really kind of in town for Tennessee to, you know, see if they can continue to roll toward the playoff. And I think Tennessee will show up with one of their 1990s style crowds. I think there will be a lot of orange. But I think, you know, when you talk about that, there was a lot of orange in Athens. Less than I thought there would be, you know. So and I know some people that have sold their tickets. I mean, a friend of mine sold her tickets on Ticketmaster, right? And they sold in 10 minutes. I mean, like Taylor Swift style, right? Like Taylor Swift style, like sellout, like boom, with a big markup. My guess is because you can't track if they're fans or of who or what. My guess is they're Tennessee people gobbling them up, but that's just a guess. And Knoxville, and you know, the state of Tennessee is in close proximity. Especially East Tennessee. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But I do think if you're a Gamecock fan, despite the fact that you're never going to, you know, even if Carolina got out, let's say Tennessee makes a mistake and fumbles and the Gamecocks have one of their good starts. They make some things happen on special teams or whatever and get up, you know, let's say 14-0 or so. You're not safe. You don't feel safe.
Give me 5 minutes.
Well, give me 5 minutes. I'll erase that.
Yeah, don't go get a beer out of the fridge.
Yeah. I mean, put the child's potty next to your chair and just go. I don't know if that's really feasible or not. But anyway, especially never mind. That's disgusting. Nana Sports chat box rocking and rolling all along with our poll question. Let's see what our poll question says. Over or under 24 and a half. And I think a lot of people, it's kind of, under is at 90%. So, I mean, wow. Oh, man. Not a lot of faith in the scatter shot offense. So, but I don't know, the crowd could play a factor if things get close. And the only reason I say that is because Tennessee hasn't necessarily played in a big bunch of, SEC loud venues this year at night at all. In fact, I don't know, Phil, that they've played a night road game. Let me look. At Pitt was in the day. It's an afternoon kickoff. I think it got dark because it went to overtime. At LSU was noon. That was the day of the Kentucky-Carolina game. 3 straight home games. Then at Georgia, they lost, and that was a CBS kickoff. And then Missouri was daytime kickoff. Well, that's at home though. Yeah, so it's their first road game at night this year.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing too. I mean, even though if they are sucking up tickets, they're not at all confident that they're going to dominate the stadium because there hasn't been a whiff of checkering Willie B. Because you have no chance at doing that.
Now their game at Vanderbilt the next week.
Now that may look like there's small kneeling.
There's a checkering coming in that one. Yeah. Like there's a checkering coming. And so that's the deal there. 76 Gamecocks is right. Does anybody actually want to keep Satterfield? I think maybe he's not the only problem. Take is closest to it. And I have been insulted for it by everyone, including JC. I'm not insulting you. I'm just disagreeing strongly.
No, and only we tend not to try to deal in absolutes at GM2. I mean, he's not the only problem. We get that, but
the biggest by far.
The biggest problem, yeah.
And I'll say this: having a limited offense affects your entire team. We've seen that here over the years, where Carolina's had pretty good defensive teams and offense couldn't score. And some of those games still got out of hand with the opposing offense, just because it's complementary football. Like Phil always talks about, you leave your defense on the field constantly over and over. They get worn down if you can't score. And also scoring touchdowns, no matter how you do it, is a momentum boost to your team. It's deflating when you can't score. It's more deflating. Actually, this is less deflating than some of the Muschamp era situations where, McClendon would have a nice drive or Roper or whoever, and then they get inside the 10 and not score. That's tough. Yeah. And this happened here a lot too, but the Florida game, there's never any, never any thought. Didn't have to worry about it getting deflated in that way. But that's why I disagree. I mean, because it's and I am on team. I'm not blaming the players. Can some players play better? Yes, that happens every week in every program. You got 85 guys on the roster. You start 22. Some guys are going to have bad games. That's just how it is. That doesn't mean they suck. That doesn't mean they can't have a good game the next week. But this is college football. These are college kids. Even the pros will have a bad game. Even the best quarterbacks in the NFL sometimes will throw 3 picks in a game or something like that. I mean, it's just
Allen these past couple of weeks. He's been off, but
yeah, they're still favored to go to the Super Bowl. Phil, you mentioned the NFL.
I know.
If Marcus Satterfield's out there listening, he's like, "Yeah, Super Bowl.
Yeah, Super Bowl. That's what we're playing for, right?"
I've got Spencer. Come hither, Mr. Bigglesworth. Open the door for Spencer.
I just can't believe how he would have us, think that, Pete Limbo has been captured by the Scooby-Doo crew. They pull his mask off and he's underneath it.
Yeah. It was Marcus Satterfield all along. And Satterfield goes, "You damn kids.
It worked for you damn kids. That dog.
That dog. What? Like, whoa, Scoob. It's Marcus Satterfield. Like, wow. Boy, Shaggy. Boy, Marcus. I would have gotten away with it too.
I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't.
He gets Spencer. Come hither, Spencer. I have the perfect audible call. I'm calling it Omaha. Oh my God! But no, AJM2. I'm sorry.
The only group that look at me stuff works at is in the special teams. You can see them over there looking at it, and then they make an adjustment, and it works. Almost
Pete Limbo just like touches his ear, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, let's go." Pete Limbo. Gosh, who had one of the people that they sell shirts? It's one of these Instagram accounts. It's not Chris. It's not the Spurs Up Show, but they have Limbo Ball.
Oh, I saw that
T-shirt. Yeah. I need to get one of those. I'm buying one, and then I'm buying one for the show to give away. But I'm only going to get one size, so I'm going to probably get an XL. So those of you that aren't XL, you're not eligible unless you want to, join me at the Hard Body Convention. Extra. I'm wearing a medium. Give me a medium. Extra smoke needed from the mystery machine for all of us, please.
Oh yeah.
What? Like whoa. Like oh whoa, the Vols, Scoob. Like yikes. Visiting with family next month. Best place to stock up on merch. Gamecock merch to follow. Gosh. When I was in town, I went to Adams University bookstore on Assembly. To get it. And then Gamecock Traditions, I think. I know they're selling online again. They closed their previous stores, but it used to be Jewelry Warehouse or whatever. But Gamecock Traditions is back up and running. I just don't know where their physical location is. But Adams was good for me. I was, when I was in school there, Adams was kind of up on the corner and wasn't as good, I guess. But they've got a lot of stuff, man, in Columbia. It's right there downtown. Next to, I think, the subway. It's near Whaley's Mill. I'm trying to think just as you go toward the stadium on Assembly right there on the left. And when I was in Columbia that's where I stocked up on some pretty cool stuff. And I got stuff for my, the kids and all. They like wearing the shirts that say Cox. They think it's funny. They wear it to school. So anyway, so no Wes yet, huh?
No. He said he was he got tied up interviewing Whittle, and then he was what did he say? He said can't get away from Vitello. Ha ha ha. I don't know Vitello, so
Vitello's their baseball coach. Hey, ask him, just say, hey man, do you have any availability tomorrow? And ask him about tomorrow.
Okay.
Because we're running up against it. So no Wes Rucker. We're going to scratch him. And if not, just tell him, hey, we'll talk to him down the road or something. Because that's I don't want to just get him on for like 5. And I know Whittle's got something later today that he's got to do. And I think he's got to get on the road to Charleston as well.
Oh, actually, he just popped in, JC.
All right, let's do it then. Wes Rucker. Yeah, sorry, I stand corrected.
No, you're good. Hey, Wes, we're not going to give you any time to get ready. How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right, guys. First off, I apologize for being tardy and for being in my car, but Josh Heupel was a little bit late after this morning's walkthrough to his presser, and then I'm getting ready to walk out of the complex, and I bump into Tony Vitello. And if you know anything about Tony Vitello, anytime you see Tony Vitello, you can kiss about 30 minutes of your life goodbye. So so just got to my car now. I'm sitting here in the Honda, and we're good.
Yeah, you sound great. You look good. Look warm. A nice beard, man. I hadn't seen you in forever, so nice beard.
Yeah, I cut about 10 pounds off of it last night.
Wow.
My wife, my wife came back from Canada. She was there for about a week on business, and she looked at it and she went gnarls. And every time she goes gnarls, I'm like, okay, I'll trim it a little bit. So here we are. We're a little more svelte today.
I had to shave myself.
I was going to say Heupel being late today. The only thing I could think of that would require extra preparation for our team would be special teams. So is you working a little harder on that?
I mean, honestly, he might. And I asked him about that today specifically. I said, with all the stuff, and Tennessee prides itself on being very good on special teams. It usually is. This year's no real exception. They've been good for the most part, like usual. But South Carolina, what they do every week on special teams, I mean, you have to pay attention to it. And he said that, they've been very cognizant of it, and they're not doing too much more than they normally do. But that's also coach speak. I mean, the fact is, when you play these guys, you have to do more stuff on special teams or be ready for it.
Well, what's caused this offensive explosion up there? I think a lot of folks kind of scratched their head a little bit about the Whittle hire, and myself included, and a lot of Tennessee people I know too. But it's worked out in spades, and kind of walk us through the evolution of this offense and why it's like the toughest thing to stop in college football.
Well, I mean, I think you've got a combination of factors that have all come together at the same time. One, Heupel's offense is good. It just is. Everywhere he's been, even when his teams haven't been great, they have always put points on the board. These guys score points. This offense, they spread you to the max horizontally. They go at a faster tempo than anybody in the country. They take vertical shots. Their entire program in all facets is designed to put stress on you from the opening kickoff. And that's why all year long, I've never coached or been through a season where I've seen more consistently coaches on the other sideline just going ballistic every week, because these guys just put pressure on you with the way they play. And that's part of it. The other part of it is Hendon Hooker was just born to play in this offense. His skill set fits it perfectly. And then you've got receivers like, Jalen Hyatt, Cedric Tillman, Brew McCoy, who are all going to be high-round picks in the NFL. Ramel Keaton's a good player, 2 senior tight ends, one of the better offensive lines in college football, other than maybe left tackle, where they're not great, but they're pretty darn good everywhere else, and they're okay at left tackle. And then 2 senior tight ends who can do everything. And they're not great players, but they're good for what they need to do. And you put all that together and you get this offense. I mean, it's just, I think the entire starting lineup is juniors or seniors, and they're old, they're good, they know what they're doing in the second year of this system, and they are fully singing from the same hymnal all the time. They're on the same page, and they believe in what they're doing.
I think, as impressed as I've been with the Vols offense this year, their defense doesn't get enough credit. You look at the total defense numbers, they're not ranked that high, but then you look at rushing defense, scoring defense. And I watched the LSU game, and that's kind of when I got a little bit of a wake-up call about this unit. LSU could do nothing with that defense. And I think that what they do, they're able to take chances and gamble and play fast and free, because they know even if they give up a big play and make a mistake, the offense is getting it back and scoring in however many minutes.
Yeah, I think that the thing about Tennessee's defense, there's a bit of a misnomer there, in that if you look at some statistics, they're not going to look great. But Tennessee plays offense faster than anybody in the country, and Tennessee games have more plays than other games. And it's kind of a simple thing that if you have a few extra drives in every game, there's going to be more yards, there's going to be more points. That's just kind of, you can't have one without the other. And so I think that makes, especially the rushing defense numbers, look even better, because they're jumping on people. And when they do that, that makes it hard to run the ball. It really does, because the clock's, your enemy at that point, and you feel like you have to generate splash plays to keep up with them. They are a very risk-reward defense, high risk, high reward. They're going to come after you. They are pretty good on the defensive line. Not so good on the back end, especially lately. They're like 3 of their top corners have been out. It's been kind of a mash unit there, and they will give up some big plays. They just will. That's just what they do. They put that much pressure on you. They play as vertical as they do, but that's almost, it fits what they do, because they want the game to be a pinball game. They thrive in that, like that kind of Leroy Jenkins kind of game. That's exactly what they want, and so they're gonna pressure on you defense. They're going to put pressure on you offensively. And what they're going to do is do everything they can to sell out the run and make you take shots downfield. And if you complete those, or you have an offensive line as good as Georgia's, you're going to be okay. But if you don't have either one of those things, then they're going to put you in an uncomfortable situation.
South Carolina is a 20.5-point underdog. It opened at 19. The money's all gone to the Vols, yet the spread has not gone up. I think if you're looking for a silver lining from a South Carolina standpoint, Tennessee's not played a night road game in the SEC this year. They played very few road games. I mean, LSU is one of the toughest places to play in the country, significantly not as tough during the day. in terms of crowd noise. And Tennessee did a great job taking that crowd completely out of it as it was. Pitt is I don't know how many Vols fans were up at Pitt, but it's not exactly crazy. I mean, it's good environment for both those games. So any concern on that part, that hey, this is a different type of environment than we've thrived in, or any concern at all on that end?
I don't know if concern's the right word. I think awareness is the right word. And there are a lot of juniors and seniors throughout this depth chart on both sides. A lot of these guys have played at South Carolina before. They know that anytime you go on the road in this league and you don't strap it up, you're liable to get hurt. And I think what's interesting is Jalen Hyde had a really good quote earlier this year, and he said that he thinks this Tennessee team is what it is because every coach and every player on this team knows exactly what failure looks like. They know exactly what heartbreak is in terms of on the football field, the adversities and things. And I think these guys on this team know that every time Tennessee plays at South Carolina lately, it feels like it's a night game and it feels like it's close. And that's just kind of how it's been. And, it wasn't so long ago this team lost a chance to play for an SEC title because it went there and laid an egg. And I think these guys have a real awareness of that. They know that, South Carolina also been a better team at night than it has during the day this season. Maybe there's nothing to that. Maybe there is. I don't know. But I think that makes the start for this game so important. Because Tennessee, like I said earlier, Leroy Jenkins, they're coming out at you fast. They're coming out hard. And they want to put you in the turf before you know what happened. And if they do that, I think with the way South Carolina played last week, a couple other disappointing losses this season, I think then you get a chance to really put it on them because there'll be a lot of Tennessee fans there. And that environment could change quickly. However, you've also got, 2001 playing. You got the light show, the fireworks. Williams-Brice is a tough place to play at night. If South Carolina comes out and makes some plays early, okay, game on. That's kind of how it is. And so I think for me, the first few drives of this game are so important because I think they're going to dictate how the rest of the night goes. And if South Carolina comes out and starts well, I think Tennessee's in for a fight. I really do. I think they'll win, but I think they're in for a fight because it's just, you say what you will about Beamer, he will get those guys excited and ready to go play the game in terms of their sort of energy level. They'll be ready to go at night there. But the start's going to be really important.
Absolutely. I'm in complete agreement with that. Well, Wes, we appreciate you joining us, taking time out of your day. Are you coming to Columbia or you got somebody else from the site going down? Or are you going to Columbia?
Yeah, I'm going down there for sure. I'm not gonna miss these games, so I look forward to it. It's always a nice trip. It's I like the press box there. I like the environment there. Good places to eat. So yeah, I mean, plus I'll be away from a crying baby for a couple of days.
Yeah,
so
congratulations, by the way. I meant to tell you that.
Congrats. I'm not complaining about that. As much as I love that little guy, especially his mom's been out of town this week, which has been
daddy duties. Oh man,
yeah. And turnabout's fair play, man.
What have I done,
Mr. Mom?
Yeah, I heard I was a really, really terrible kid when I was little too. So, and he's normally a really good one. But if I'll tell you what, every time she goes out of town for work, even if it's just like for a couple of days, this time it was a few days, I have much more respect for every single parent who's ever done this. People who do this all the time, those are the heroes. Every single one of them needs a medal pinned to their chest all the time. They wear capes. Single parents wear capes. I don't know how especially the women who do this, no idea how they do it. They're heroes.
Absolutely. Well, Wes, have a good one. Enjoy your trip down the mountains to Columbia, and we'll talk with you real soon. Don't be a stranger, man.
Anytime, guys. Normally I'm in the studio and it looks and sounds better, but I'm glad we were able to make it work.
Hey, this was one of the better car interviews we've had. You and Hale McGranahan are now tied for the car. We had a guy come on one time that sounded like Bane from Batman the whole time from his car. We had to cut it short. So it was one of the greatest car interviews we've ever had. So we appreciate it, man.
No problem. Thank Bose for the microphone. So it's not me. My voice sucks.
Oh, Bose is fancy. That's awesome. All right, Wes, take care, man.
Fancy. See y'all.
See you. fancy Wes Rucker joining us there. Wes is good people, and I think he makes a good point about the start. I think we've avoided talking about the start this week, Phil, because we talk about it every single week when it comes to the Gamecocks.
But if there is going to be any hope, it starts at the beginning of the game.
The better start you have, the longer you're going to stay in it, the longer they're going to come back from commercial, and the place is going to be rocking with the lights. And, it's a big commercial for the Gamecocks. That's kind of how I see it from a football standpoint. I don't know. I don't know what the plan's going to be on either side, especially defense. I don't know. Anyway, we got to get a break. Whittle's coming up after these messages on Inside the Gamecocks, the show, to talk a little hoops, and then we'll wrap it up with more from the Nana Sports chat box.
If you're looking to sell or buy multifamily property right here in South Carolina, the Burgesson team of RE/MAX at the Lake can help you get to closing fast and easy. Adam and Derek Burgesson both are very proud Gamecocks and are more than happy to assist you with any of your commercial real estate needs all across the state. You can email Adam at aburgesson@remax.net. That's ABERGESON at remax.net to get your next deal underway. The Burgesson team, proud sponsors of Inside the Gamecocks.
Attention golfers of all ages and skill sets. Former Gamecock golfer Meredith Taylor will be a full-time golf instructor in the Midlands of South Carolina very, very soon. You want to take advantage of this opportunity. If you're like me and you got to get a whole lot better at golf, or even if you're looking to refine your swing, Meredith is the person you need to go to. She's competing in her final USGA Mid-Amateur Tournament this summer before going full-time into teaching and coaching individuals. If you're in South Carolina, Meredith will be conducting in-person golf lessons at the Country Club of Lexington, half-hour, hour, on course. She'll play 9 or 18 with you. If you're out of state, though, this is really exciting. She'll be conducting virtual lessons. You can send in your swing for her expert analysis. Also, in November, she'll launch an online course with video instruction for all ages and skill levels. Meredith has 20-plus years of knowledge, former SEC golfer, all of that. So contact her on Twitter at MerTaylor, at MERTAYLOR, or go to McKellarEnterprises.org. McKellar spelled MCKELLAR, Enterprises.org. Her email's on the website, so you can connect with her for any other questions. Go get your golf game in order. Take advantage of Meredith Taylor and her services.
Family vacations, a new car, a new boat, all cost money, but you don't necessarily have to make more to afford any of that if you can save cash that's flying out the window now. iHelp Consulting can help you finally get the kids to Disney World, upgrade the minivan, or drop that new boat in the water next summer. Let Daniel and iHelp Consulting consult with you. No fees, just savings. You pay them a percentage of those savings. Save on essential services, credit card fees, you name it. Let them find it. These folks are incredible. iHelpConsulting.com. How can I help you?
Hey folks, JC here. I've told you about Nana's Porch over and over again. They sponsor our chat box on the show. Don't take my word for it, though. I wanted you to hear from Gamecock pitcher Noah Hall about our sponsor, Nana's Porch. Nana'sPorch.com. Go there. Food truck, catering, whatever you need. Take it away, Noah.
What's up, Gamecock fans? This is pitcher Noah Hall. If you want some delicious food for your event, I suggest visiting nanasporch.com today to find out what they all have to offer. It's really good Southern cuisine based out of Charlotte, my hometown. I hope you guys go check it out. Go Cox and go Nanas.
Hey, man, are you sick and tired of your business computer guy?
Yes, he takes forever to call me back and doesn't always respond to the requests.
Yeah, same here. I'm paying him good money. I constantly have issues, and I'm worried he's not backing up my network and securing it properly.
Oh, I feel that, man. My head hurts, but I have a good lead on a good idea. I'm calling your boy Matthew Odom today from Heritage Digital. Heritage Digital is an IT firm that specializes in making sure your IT network runs like a dream. If you have 1 or 500 employees, it doesn't matter. They do it all for one monthly fee and have clients from South Carolina all the way to California.
Yeah, I heard that monthly fee's low too, so I don't know why I didn't even think of that. Do you have 843-699-1001 as Matt's contact number?
Yeah, man, I sure do that. Or you can go to heritagedigital.com.
Man, I hear they do a no-cost assessment. Boy, this will help me.
Yeah, I bet.
I'm getting on that and encouraging everyone else to do the same. Heritage Digital, 843-699-1001 or heritagedigital.com, a proud sponsor of Inside the Gamecocks, the show.
This is Braylon Wimmer, South Carolina Gamecock Baseball, and you are listening to Inside the Gamecocks, the show with JC and Phil. Go Cox!
Welcome back to the show, everybody. The second hour of the show is brought to you by the Burgesson team at Remax at the Lake. Give Adam or Derek a call or shoot them an email at Burgesson, that's ABRGESON at remax.net. And we're joined on the Enterprises guest line by none other than the Big Spurs, John Whittle. John, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Glad to be back with you guys.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you. Mm-hmm.
I like the background.
Yeah.
The trophies and jerseys and stuff. Is there some Arsenal stuff back there?
Yeah, we got a
there we go. I saw the flag. I wanted to see the flag, man. For those that don't know, they follow soccer, European soccer. Whittle is a huge Arsenal fan, so that's I knew I was looking for that. John, Carolina basketball today, men's this tournament down in Charleston. When I look at it, I think it's kind of an opportunity. There's some good teams, some coaches that we're all familiar with, obviously. Pat Kelsey, Nico Medved tonight, Furman's coach. God, Bob Ritchie. Gosh, how did I forget that name? Mike Young from Virginia Tech. Looks like it's a pretty good tournament. How do you see this as an opportunity for this sort of evolving young team to continue to be encouraging?
Yes, the Ray Tanner interview invitational, I think, with so many coaches who were in the mix, quote unquote, for the job last year. No, it's a great looking tournament to be honest with you. Eight teams that all have something. So I don't want to say something to prove, but something that they can bring to the table in terms of a quality opponent, right? Like South Carolina will face either Charleston or Davidson after they play Colorado State tonight. Colorado State was obviously in the tournament last year, got an at-large bid from the Mountain West, gave Michigan a little bit of a game in the tournament, but a really good team with an established coach out there. So it's a great tournament to be in, and I like the fact that they're playing in South Carolina this year. Have the opportunity to expose Lamont Paris in the program to the fan base down there, and I think it's a really good tournament to be in. Good format, 3 games in 4 days, so it'll be a good time.
Yeah, I also, as a reminder for those of you in the upstate, in December, South Carolina is part of a triple header with Furman and Clemson at the Bon Secours Wellness Arena in Greenville, in that part of the state. And I like that. I'm with you, John. I think getting the team out around the state is really good, and outside of Columbia for exposure. And Gamecocks will play East Carolina in that triple header at the Bon Secours Wellness Arena, where they're undefeated, by the way, in men's basketball. The game against Clemson, your take on that? Obviously, I think every Gamecock person alive realizes it was a big win. It's a big win anytime you beat those guys. But, what impressed you about this team's kind of resiliency, I guess? I mean, you got a young team. They kind of got up on, or a new team, I guess. They kind of got up on them, blew a lead, and then Chico Carter saves the day at the end. What can you say about the way that team battled against the Tigers?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was good because you look at it, and South Carolina's better players didn't play all that great. I mean, I thought Gigi played well, but Michi Johnson should probably be the best player on the team behind him. And he was nursing the ankle injury, but he was 1 of 8, had 4 turnovers, 3 or 4 turnovers, I guess, and only scored 3 points. And if Michi Johnson's only going to score 3 points a game for South Carolina this year, it's going to be a really long year. So him not playing well, Hayden Brown didn't play great. I mean, he did okay. He knocked down a couple of key shots and played a little bit better late in the game. Grabbed a couple of key rebounds late, but he was 3 of 12 from the floor and scored 9. Like, he's going to be a little bit better than that for South Carolina to be really good this year. And Benjamin Bosman's Verdonk, he had 7 turnovers in 16 minutes. He's supposed to be a starter. He's coming back from the foot injury, but he didn't play well, obviously. So those are supposed to be probably three of South Carolina's 5 or 6 best players who played not all that great and still won the game. So, you look at Chico Carter and what he did, you look at Jacoby Wright and what he did, you look at Josh Gray and what he did, and those were the guys who really kind of carried South Carolina apart from G.G. Jackson. So I thought it was a good team win overall. I thought Josh Gray is the guy who really turned that game in South Carolina's favor because we forget Clemson got out to a really good start in that game and led by as many as 6, early in the game, went up 14-8. I think it was, and most of those points came in the interior right around the basket, and whether it was offensive rebounds, interior passing to get a dunk, guards slashing in from the wing, whatever it was, they were controlling the interior, and Josh Gray came in and changed that story. He influenced shots, altered shots, blocked a few shots, had 10 rebounds. He played a great game, and to me, he was the player of the game. So, I thought overall it was a solid game for the Gamecocks, but they can play a lot better than what they did.
Yeah, John, I think, one of the things we put up a Twitter poll this week asking about whether or not we were encouraged by the performance in the first 2 games from the basketball team. I think you just kind of hit on one of the key reasons why I thought we should be encouraged is that, in the Clemson game, our best players didn't necessarily play up to that specific level we were expecting them to, but we still were able to come away with a win. A lot of people are looking at South Carolina State, only skating on a 3-point win. But how about you? Where do you feel? Are you encouraged by this year's team? Should we keep on rolling with the Lamont Paris, early in here and not kind of throw the baby out with the bathwater just because we are only winning close?
Yeah. I mean, I can't tell you how many messages I got about how awful the South Carolina State game was and how disappointing it was. And I kept saying, yeah, I see the score, but I thought it was okay. Like I liked the way the team played. SC State hit some crazy, ridiculous threes that, it was their night and they played really well. And you didn't really know what to expect with that team under a new coach. And they had a couple of old guys who really shot lights out. And I came away from that game actually pretty encouraged. I come away from the Clemson game pretty encouraged. But there's a lot to clean up, like 19 turnovers the other night against Clemson. That's not going to allow you to win many games at all. But as these guys grow together, is going to be a lot better in my opinion. Like Lamont Paris made the point after the game, like Hayden Brown and Benjamin Bosmans-Verdonk hadn't really even practiced together. Like Hayden Brown missed almost he missed much of the preseason coming into this, missed month and a half close to it with a hamstring injury. He was doing a little bit here and there. When Hayden finally got healthy enough to get back on the court and practice, and Benjamin Bosmans-Verdonk goes down with a foot injury, and he missed about a week of practice. So, these guys are still getting used to each other, still growing together, and that's part of it. You have to win games along the way, though, and so far they're winning the games along the way.
You mentioned Josh Gray. That's a guy I've always kind of been intrigued by. It's probably because I'm a football guy, and this cat's 7 foot and 270 pounds and really athletic and all. Do you think he's he's one that I had a feeling I was like, well, either the coaching change for him is going to be really, really good or really, really bad. It looks like it's really, really good, just based on the way he played the other night. I mean, didn't light up the scoreboard scoring or anything, but 10 rebounds, playing the defense he did. Man, that's kind of what a little bit what you envisioned when they signed him out of the portal from LSU, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And with Josh, it comes down to just doing well what you do well and not trying to do too much. Like at LSU, they were wanting him to, hit 15-foot jumpers. Well, why? Like, what are we doing here? Like they wanted him. It didn't make sense. Like do what you do well. And there's a role for guys who can play good interior defense, block shots, rebound the basketball. and just be competent enough around the rim to catch and score, catch and go up and score. Like he can do those things. Like he's not going to be a guy who's going to step out and hit a 15-footer. He's not going to be a guy who's necessarily a great passer of the basketball and is going to hit backdoor cuts to a slashing guard or something like that. Like that's not really his game. Go in there and be the Hulk that you are and bully people around in the post. Score a couple of baskets when you've got a good matchup, but be a guy down there to be a presence. And there's enough skill at the 4 position, depending on who you're playing over there, to where you can have some offense on the interior and do some different things as well when he's in the game. So just go in there, be who you are, do what you do well, and that's something that can be very useful for the South Carolina team.
All right, wrap it up with John Whittle from thebigspur.com. Sonder asked if you are heading to Charleston. Are you going to Charleston?
I will be there tomorrow, and I will be there on Sunday. Alex Jones will be down there tonight for us to cover the Colorado State game. I will be helping out a little bit from home base and listening to the Shane Beamer call-in show tonight.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on. Repeat this. Are you on call-in show duty?
I got call-in show duty tonight. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Wow. For those that don't know, nobody does the call-in show like Whittle. It's one of our subscribers on the BigSpurs.com's favorite things. I know many of you are members. So there you go. There's some good news. You can get there and get Whittle's great coverage of the call-in show today. All right, man. Well, great stuff on basketball. Appreciate you joining us. I know this won't be the last time, and keep up the good work and have a good day.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
John Whittle from thebigspur.com. Yeah, looking forward to this game tonight. Gamecocks, like Chris said earlier, 1.5-point favorite. The ESPN predictor has the Gamecocks, I think, last I checked, at like 54%.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. Sonder, can you send me an email about the mic? I'll do whatever you need me to do because I agree with you. And that's the last thing I want is people – my mic, it's been an issue, and I just need to, I think I'm pretty decent at being on the air, but I'm not a technical genius, and Phil's in a different city, so I can't really. So
I would help if I could.
Yeah, so send me an email with some tips because I've taped my cord in. I just don't know what's going on, and it's been that way.
Is it sitting on the desk? Is that what it is? It's actually sitting on the desk. Maybe you need a stand.
It's clamped to the desk. Actually, my desk is like a dining room table. It's like a big.
Well, yeah, yeah, mine too.
So, yeah, we don't do desk here. It's I took over the formal dining room, and it's kind of my studio. But yeah, send inside the game guys at gmail.com. So back to football. Great, freaking football. There are some official visitors coming in this weekend. I think there's some commitments coming in. I'm getting to those right now. Montague Rames is coming in from the 4-star defensive end. They recently went up in the rankings a little bit. Out of Manning, who's going to be a big help to the program down the road. This is an intriguing guy from Chaminade Madonna in Hollywood, Florida. That was Akeem Auguste's school, by the way.
Oh.
Edwin Joseph, 6 foot, 178 pounds, fast South Florida kid. The Gamecocks want him as a receiver. Others are recruiting as a corner. Gosh, I think he'd be a nice pickup, and he's an uncommitted player. I guess the crystal ball has him to Miami, and I think Miami may have moved on from him. He's visited Penn State, Louisville, Auburn, visited Auburn last weekend. So, we'll see. We'll see. Louisville, Penn State. I mean, Gamecocks are probably not as high as some other teams heading into the visit, but if he can have a great visit, you can get him. Great. Give me all the South Florida guys I can find. I'm not picky. The South Florida dudes are fast and furious and all that. So that's the official visit deal for this weekend. So that's the deal right there. But yeah, looking at it, I don't want to get anyone's hopes up, for this game. And I think every other game this year, I've thought, well, because you played Arkansas and Georgia so early, you're kind of like, well, how good is this team? How good is this team not? That kind of thing. I was concerned about Missouri, but thought they'd pull it out in a low-scoring game just because it's embarrassing for the University of South Carolina to lose 4 straight to Missouri. And it was embarrassing what happened last year in Columbia, Missouri. And so you think, especially when it comes to the offense, all year, because you got embarrassed out there last year when you shouldn't have against a bad defense, you'd think maybe, hey, I got a little something for Missouri this time, and instead it was worse. I was not as concerned with Vandy as I was prior to game week because I thought, well, this will be an opportunity to bounce back. For the life of me, I didn't expect them to get shut out at Florida. No. So I don't know what, sometimes during this Beamer era, we've been pleasantly surprised and brutally surprised. But there's been, you find a way for hope in every single game because there are no locks in the sport. There's always like a 5% chance things can break your way. Upsets happen any given Saturday. Unless you're playing a team with like an extremely talent deficiency, right? Like at Eastern Illinois last year, or Charlotte or SC State, somebody like that. Or if you want to flip it, Carolina against Georgia. But, South Carolina has good football players. Tennessee has good football players. West broke down some of their personnel. I can tell you that some of these guys weren't all that heavily recruited. They're just good. And some of them, like Brew McCoy was heavily recruited, but then Brew McCoy was on the fast track to Bustville. Ramel Keaton was like a 4-star guy that did nothing. He signed under Pruitt's, done nothing, and he's playing well. I mean, Small and Wright were not, top tier guys. Hooker was a low 4-star guy. I think that's the deal there. So, you never know. Talent for talent, and I think if Marshawn Lloyd were healthy, which I think that's up in the air again, you'd think, well, there's a shot. I think, with what Wes said about Tennessee's defense being susceptible to big plays, South Carolina had been capable of big plays. I mean, you're going to throw the Arkansas playbook out there at them. What do you do? That's my question. And my concern is that they're going to try to cover everything on defense, zone line. They're going to try to zone them up and tackle them like Georgia. And they don't have the hosses Georgia's got, right? Especially in the linebacking core. I think what Pitt did against them would be smarter. Pat Narduzzi was on the record as saying, you just man their asses up. That's what he said. Pat Narduzzi said that. Man their asses up and go from there. So
I think you got to take that, just devil may care defense, like what do you got to lose?
Yeah.
Just throw it at them.
I did those exotic pressures and I honestly think, South Carolina's corners, their DBs in general are probably decent enough to win their share of battles against these guys. If you manned them up, they're going to give up some big plays. But also, I think that another way you disrupt this is getting pressure on the quarterback. And that's been easier said than done. But, Carolina has some defensive linemen who should be able to go in there and do some things. Heck, if the linebackers aren't going to cover, send them to shoot. Just send the house. Blitz every play.
That's one of the things that I, liked or didn't really like about what was going on in the Twitter exchange last night is, that guy you were talking about, puts up a picture of Zach Pickens and says, well, he's never seen anything as fast as Tennessee. I'm like, except for last year.
He played against Tennessee last year, Zach Pickens. Yeah, Pickens will play. Pickens has had consistently really good games and has made himself some money. Another factor is it's senior night. And a lot of these guys that are walking or whatever played a lot of football around here, man. And it's their last game at Williams-Brice, so it's now or never. So on that side of the ball, You just really don't know. I mean, what you should do game plan wise, all that stuff. But I would do what Narduzzi did because Pitt slowed them at least. Pitt slowed them down. Pitt would have won that game had Pitt's starting quarterback and backup quarterback not been hurt. Pitt's backup quarterback was playing on one leg at the end. And that game went to overtime. But boy, if Carolina Tennessee goes to overtime, that's even if the Vols win, that's not a moral victory. I mean, there's no moral victories, right?
No,
but that will be a big, big deal in terms of the showcase, because everybody will be talking about it across the country. So that brings me back to the offense. I don't have any faith he's going to know what to do. I mean, I think, and I've watched Tennessee all year because I said the same thing. Common sense says how you beat a team like this is you control the ball, you line up, you run it, you stay on the field. I thought that was a great plan last year. And then the Gamecocks finally, the run game bust out, and we all know what happened with the Jordan Birch pass, RIP. Do you go with DeCarry and Joyner and figure out, and I'm saying all this, admitting and realizing that none of it will happen, right? And understanding that, the chances of anything, and I'm not a coach, man. I'm just talking ball here. The chances of any of these ideas making it to the field, I think you're going to see something a lot like Florida, tight formations.
Yeah, that 12 personnel with a single
grind it up, like you're in the NFL, and run clock or whatever. Whoever mentioned J-Rock mentioned Joyner earlier. What I like about that possibility is he is much better suited to scramble out, get first downs, move the chains like Connor Shaw. If you guys remember what Coach Spurrier did during the Shaw years and even the Garcia years during the 5-game win streak against Clemson, Clemson went fast. Not this fast, but they went fast. And what you do is you ran it. Shaw would dart up for first downs. You threw selectively passed, and took some shots down the field from time to time, and you stayed on the field. And then Clemson wasn't all that good on defense at the time, and so you kept them from scoring, and you beat them with a massive time of possession advantage. I don't think Satterfield's capable of doing anything like that.
No, I mean, you don't. I'd love to see some 50-50 balls to a really, talented receiver core and, down the field across the middle. But, I mean, what have we got to go on, JC, that says that's going to happen?
I mean, the problem is that you look at it and you're like, well, player to player, you got Spencer Rattler, Josh Vann, Jaheim Bell, Juice Wells, dare I say, Amarian Brown. I mean, you've got some receivers and a quarterback in Spencer Rattler who has the arm talent to make some plays against what is a suspect Tennessee D. The question becomes: is he going to get them off? Is he going to get the passes off? These slow developing passes aren't going to cut it, man. Ask Brian Kelly, and the LSU had a good game plan with them, man. LSU came to the game and said, we're going to run zone read with Daniels and try to stay on the field and all that. And it just doesn't work because what they do is they're like, all right, you want to do that? We're going to sell out and stop it. And if you complete a long pass on us to score a touchdown, that's fine because we're going to come right back and puts our offense back on the field. It is one of the best examples of complementary football, Phil, I've seen in a long time in college football. And you got to hats off to Josh Heupel for doing it. I mean, Heupel wasn't nobody was waiting at the airport in Knoxville to give him a kiss when he was hired, like they were for Nick Saban at Bama or anywhere else. And then, and he's just come in there and just laid it all on the table. It's like, hey, all right, well, fine. This is what we're going to do. We're at Tennessee. We're going to go fast. We're going to be super aggressive, and put pressure on the other team all the time, which is kind of what Beamer said when he was hired.
Yeah, which is what we were expecting from the Satterfield offense, but it is.
We should have known better, man. And you get all these players in, you don't evolve, blah 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 blah. So that's my final point here today. Carolina's got the players on offense to score. I just don't have any faith in the plan, and I think unfortunately my opinion and my guess is you're going to see something that plays right in Tennessee's hands Saturday. Now it may not. It may be the right plan for Clemson the following week, but we all know.
But that means we wouldn't use it.
Yeah, we all know they're going to Clemson, going 5 wide and chucking it all over the place, right?
Right, spread it out, and then run Shipley up the middle or around the side or wherever you want to. Yeah,
no doubt. All right, thanks for everyone for joining us. Thanks to Chris Phillips of the Spurs Up Show. As always, he's here every Thursday. I'm about to be on the Spurs Up Show myself. If you guys pop over there in about 14 minutes. Thanks to Wes Rucker from Vols247, and especially thanks to John Whittle. Tomorrow we'll review the basketball game. We'll have predictions for Saturday's football game. Talk about the next basketball game, which is there'll be one Friday too. And, of course, all of you and a whole lot of fun right here on Inside the Gamecocks, the show. For Phil Mullinax, JC Sherbert. Have a great day, everyone.